Yo, 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 this your boy Larry, and I'm chilling and vibing with award-winning book author, children book author at that, Miss Michelle, the computer lady. How you doing?
Larry, I'm chilling and vibing with you, and thank you so much for letting me join the show. Amazing.
Yeah, I appreciate you for coming on. I know you're a very busy lady, but I appreciate you making a little time for me.
Glad to do it. Any friend of Alan's is a friend of mine, and thanks so much for having me.
Oh yeah. So since we talking about computers, like how did you get into computers?
Well, first I was in AutoCAD. That's where we do drafting and designing. But I'm a person that I really like to use my hands. And my dad was a TV radio man, but my good friend Rhonda, she's a lawyer now. And she was like, "Hey, Cox, come with me and let me and just help me upgrade my computer." And I'm like, "We can do that?" Like, yes. So we went to Radio Shack and got parts, and I've been into it since then. I ended up finding a class where I could learn how to repair computers. And now I teach computer hardware repair.
Okay. I was watching, looking at your website. You're good at it.
Well, I really enjoy what I do. I've been in it for, about 27 years. Got into it into the late 80s, early 90s when having home computers was still really new to the market because, as you remember, as people know, everything was mainframes and IBMs. And so I had an opportunity to jump in, went to school in New Jersey, and end up leaving my career in logistics and went into computers with Home Depot.
Okay. So how do you feel about, the new technology today?
Oh, I love today's technology. You got to remember when we started, everything was
Sure.
really big and bulky. Now we're into nanotechnology, so everything is getting smaller, smaller, and smaller, which number one helps with our carbon footprint. Number two, things are way faster. I remember having an old 286DX, and all you could do was play solitaire, and when you finish or you won the game, and the cards would go really, really slow. Now everything is in nanosecond time. So technology is amazing. I like how it's taking off, and just know by 2025 we'll have 25 billion devices in use around the world.
Yeah, I remember it was dial up. That AOL.
You got mail.
Yeah, it's amazing how technology done advanced. You remember you had to get minutes, for your phone. Now you got unlimited minutes. Or you can use Wi-Fi to talk to people. I remember one time a girl tried to talk to me and she said, I'm on that Wi-Fi plan. I ain't know what I said, what? She said, I'm on that Wi-Fi plan. So if you call me, you gotta call me when I got Wi-Fi.
Oh, I remember that really well. And now, you know, like most of us, because I do a lot of internet at home, I have that. I'm working on that, getting that fiber. I'm on coax now, but I'm on the highest speed of coax because, well, I don't like lag time. I have a podcast like you from home. And because of that, I try to get every bit out of what I'm doing. And so need that high speed internet.
Definitely do. So how did you become an author, book author? How did that journey started?
Well, I'm a breast cancer survivor, and I came home from having breast cancer surgery, and I was asking God what I was going to do with my life because, you know, I was upset. I was, thinking, am I going to live? Am I going to die? And God was like, I got you. And I started writing books, and I wrote my first book called Mommy is a Computer Smarter Than Me. Then I wrote another book. I was at a conference called Mommy, What's an Entrepreneur? And now I've written a new book because as of 2019, I fell and I broke my hip. And the wonderful people at Grady Hospital, they came, got rescued, and they fixed me up, even though I have the sarcoidosis in my lungs and I learned how to walk again. So I wrote this book called Mommy, What is the Acetabulum? And this is a book that I'm going to use to actually raise funds for Grady Hospital. And so I wrote that book while I was laying in bed, and the young lady came in and she's like, "You have an acetabular fracture," da da da. And she was just talking, and I'm like, "Acetabular fracture. Okay, so something in my hip." And so I started doing the research. And as I was laying there in bed, I started writing a book. Now, I've written 15 books so far, I became an award-winning author. The Distinguished Authors Guild, I won for Mommy, What is an Entrepreneur, which is an ebook. And for everybody out there, that ebook is free. All you got to do is Google Michelle the Computer Lady, and you can go to my website, the Mommy Readers Collection. You got a child with a tablet, computer, they can get that one on me.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Y'all heard it. Please go out there and support Michelle the Computer Lady, man. She's an amazing person. So I see you a songwriter also and lyricist.
Well, you know how God can give you many talents? Well, I've been blessed. I can hear certain things, and I've been writing poetry and writing since I was young. And so I also write country songs or country lyrics. And I've got a song out there now. It's not on the airwaves yet, but we're working to get it to an artist. And it's a phenomenal piece. I've had some producers here, and they're like, wow, why aren't you singing? Well, I don't sing like that. I'm not a person that wants to be in the spotlight as a singer, but I do like writing. And it's just one of those gifts that I have when something comes in my head, a song or anything, it'll come in there and rattle around. It's like, hey, you got to write me, you know, and so I have to get it out because if not, I won't be able to sleep.
Yeah. That's amazing. You know, you working behind the scenes. So tell me about your podcast. I appreciate you for coming on mine again, but let me know a little bit more about yours.
Well, I have a show called The Importance and Power of Reading. I teamed up with the Pick TV network, and I was doing some broadcasting and anchoring on that show. And I thought about the fact that people need to read, but our kids need to see representation of positive people and why they read and why it's important to read. Because when children can see themselves in their culture and they see good things, they aspire to be better than whatever their life is currently. And I know one thing, if you're not reading, if you're not comprehending, you won't do well in this life. So I've had over 25 shows so far, and my show is on YouTube. Again, you can look up Michelle the Computer Lady on YouTube. It's called The Importance and Power of Reading. I had one young lady on my show. She didn't learn how to read until third grade. And her story is phenomenal, Miss Shahar Wooten. Then I had Moses West on there, and he created the atmospheric water generator. Well, I want our children in our culture to see us in a positive light. And that was one of the reasons I created the show.
How long have you been you had your show going?
Oh, for a couple of years now, not long. So this is year number 2. We're hopefully be ramping up production and back here as we go into the fall season.
Okay. And I try to put that in my daughter's head also, how important reading is. And she enjoy reading. Like I got comic books, you know, digital comic books, and like she like to read like Dr. Stru, Uncle Scrooge, Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, you know, them comics on my phone, and I let her read them, and you know, the more you read, the more you learn, cause like them big words you don't know, you know, sound them out, and you know, if you can't pronounce them, you know, Daddy here to help you.
Well, I've always been big on children and words. I remember me starting to read at the age of 2.5, and that's because my mother was always big on showing me words, taking me to the grocery store, and I would help her find items on the list. And that's how I started reading. I think with our children now, it's not that they don't want to read. I think we have to give them books that interest their curiosity, that makes them say, hey, I want to learn about this, you know, because every child doesn't like to read. And it's not that they don't like to read. We haven't found the right and suitable material that will turn the lights on. It's like, yeah, when they get home and it's going to be their favorite.
Yeah, you know, with technology again, you know, a lot of kids got access to iPads and phones. So, you know, their attention span, they want to watch a TikTok, which is only a couple of seconds, or a YouTube short, which, you know, is just visual, but they're not reading, you know. Granted, it's good to see things, but, you know, it's like you comprehend more when you read it. You get a better understanding when you read. And, you know, that's what I try to put in my daughter's head, you
That's
know.
absolutely correct.
Yeah, I try to put that in her head, you know, You got to read it. Like we read every night, every day we read. As soon as you get home, and we got to do at least 10 to 15 minutes.
And that's what it takes. Parents like you that, number one, when the baby gets home, hey, we're going to read together. If you read to and with your children and have them read to you, you're giving them the greatest head start in life.
So Michelle, the computer lady, I got a question. What advice would you give someone who was wanting to become an author and write their own book?
Well, the first thing I do, and I tell everybody, if you want to become an author, don't overthink the process. Literally, just start writing. Don't worry about the order. Don't worry about misspelled words or any of that. Just really start to write what's on your heart, whether you do it by pen or whether you do it on the computer. Now, for people that might say, well, I don't know what I want to write about. What interests you? What made you think about being an author? Then start writing little passages, 5 minutes a day. Anything that comes to your head, just write it down. That's the way you start to be an author. For me, it was a gift from God. It was something to quench my mind in the midst of me going down my cancer journey. But again, I had also written poetry. I had done short stories. So I've been writing most of my life. I was also a student reporter in school. So I think God just opened up another pathway for me to become an author. And I'm also a publisher. I publish all my own works as well.
Wow, that's amazing. You do it all. Well, Michelle, I appreciate you for coming on. But before we go, let everybody know what we doing.
We chilling and vibing.
Oh yeah.